Morning, everybody. I'll do a quick video this morning. Excuse me. I know Alan can't. Excuse me. Alan can't start on time. I always start early. Can't wait. I have. I don't know, what would you call it? I have a perpetually punctual position that I live in. Can't be late. Never been late. I don't think I've ever been late in my life. Had a huge anxiety disorder most of my life over punctuality, being on time. Oh man. If I'm gonna be 15 minutes earlier, man, my heart starts pounding. I'm like, gotta get there. I've gotten better over the years. I've gotten way better. I don't panic near as bad when the time frame is on crunch, but I can't help myself. My perpetual punctualism is a preferred position. I'd rather be 30 minutes early than 1 minute late. Ever. Never. Don't be late. Oh no, man. I don't know where or how it got driven into my skull, but it's been most all my life. Always been an early riser. I remember my parents laughing, saying they'd sit there and listen to us, and I'm just begging my brother to get out of bed, man, get ready to go to school. What are you doing? Mom and Dad are gonna be mad. Get up. I used to get so pissed at him. He wouldn't get up. He'd sleep till last minute and get up, and throw it together and head out. Not little Tommy. Tommy got up and got prepared. He was ready to roll. He was sitting at the door. He was sitting at the front door 15 minutes early, ready to go. Let me go get my dog. Sorry, got one more dog to put out. Come on, Chevy. All right, she'll go out. But yeah, my whole life, I've always been an early riser. Always been punctual. I mean, boy, you talk about anxiety. Hey, Bob, what's up, bud? Well, Bob, speaking of that, this chair is pretty good. I keep this thing behind me, and this chair and this allow me to put ice packs back there, and I can sit normal. Where most chairs, if you put something like this and you put ice packs and you're sitting like this, you can't sit straight, you can't sit comfortably. I've been trying this is about what I've come up with here that I have on hand that works. Hey, Alan's up. No, Alan's not up. I thought I heard him out there. But yeah, Bob, I mean, I wish I had the perfect chair. I wish I had a travel chair that I could take with me wherever. The worst thing, like, I was at my pain management appointment. I'm sitting in that crappy little chair, and they come in, and I sit there for about a minute, and I stand up, and I'm like, I can't sit in these chairs. These are awful. They're like, oh yeah, I know, okay. So I mean, anytime I ever have an appointment or anything, I can't sit long enough to stand up and sit down, stand up and sit down. Yeah, it's hard to get comfortable. But and thanks, Bob. I agree. I wish I could find a better chair. But what do? I try to make do. I have my autonomic nerve conduction study this next week. It's just them making money. Just them making money. I think they ain't gonna do anything for my state. It's just gonna be money in their pocket. Money in their pocket. Well, I had a few videos I wanted to share this morning, and no reason not to start right now. I feel it. This one, I haven't watched it yet, but this guy usually does good stuff. This is from the Flat Earth Conference.
If people don't understand the money, then you don't understand the lie. $56 million a day. Of course, you've heard that 56 million times probably this weekend. But we need to talk about how big the space economy is, okay? That is the music industry at $19.3 billion in 2018. The movie industry is $43 billion in 2018, okay? We can even add to the movie by going with home entertainment. That includes your Blu-ray players, your DVD players, your home entertainment systems, your TVs. Even with all that, we're still at $136 billion for all of movies. That's box office, that's theaters, that's every movie made in Hollywood. Okay? That's how much that entire industry is worth. The video game industry, $137 billion, one of the biggest industries that there is. We can add those all together, combo of everything music that you've ever seen music, home entertainment, movies, box office, Hollywood, video games. That includes on your apps, on your phone, Xbox, PlayStation. That's the space industry. $410 billion. So when people ask why the lie, well, what good does it do? What difference does it make? Well, it makes a huge difference to those that are involved. NASA, the people they pay. JPL, the organizations that they deal with. All these other countries. And again, this is a worldwide economy. Absolutely insane. Think of the money that goes on with like the James Webb Space Telescope that was supposed to be launched 4, 5, 6 years ago. Current cost $11 billion. One thing I looked up recently is I said, okay, $11 billion for this James Webb Telescope. How many cameras will it have on it? Take a guess. How many cameras? Zero. Zero cameras. It will have an imaging system to take pictures of the deep sky, but not a camera to see if it deploys, not a camera to see the Earth. If you're putting something up in space, why not have a camera on it? Think how cheap cameras are. We've seen everybody running around with their cameras and their GoPros. They're so cheap. They even have cameras now, if you've seen, or phones, that will take pictures of the stars. How do we not have pictures of the stars from the ISS? It's as if NASA gets $56 a day. And even at that much, I'd expect a little bit more. The education, or what I call the indoctrination, is clearly a battle between two worldviews. I was talking to a few people about what I think about evolution and the fact that if you understand that evolution is taught in schools and it's a complete and total farce, hopefully that starts to tell you that it's possible across the board. I think I was talking to Danny Faulkner about it. He didn't really seem to agree with me on that. He said, oh, well, they're not teaching lies, Jaron. They really think that the Earth is blankety blank billion years old, 4.54 billion years old. And I totally disagree. Do the teachers think they're telling lies? No, the teachers are teaching what they think is the truth. It's what they were taught. It's what's in the school books. But at the very highest level, you're telling me you don't think it's a worldview of people who hate the Creator, who hate anything that the Bible says and just say, no, anything that the Bible says, we'll say the opposite. Earth 6,000 years old? 6 billion. You know? Oh, this came first? Nah, the other came first. We've been right. You've been wrong the whole time. As I said, we know that they are purposely, at least at the highest levels, teaching children lies. One thing that people need to also recognize that they don't teach you in school is that you can really map the Earth on anything, right? If you think about a NASA control room, up against the wall, there will be a big map of the Earth, but it's a flat map, laid out kind of like a Mercator projection, and you get the orbits that kind of look like sine waves. That can be mapped as anything. It still allows them to control what they think they're looking at and what they're watching, but it's all the same thing. You can really do it on anything. You could map the Earth on a pyramid, right? You could have a pyramid, you map the Earth on it. Now, of course, we would go out and we would say, well, there's no edges. I can't find any edges so we could disprove the pyramid theory. But again, they'd be able to come back with some mathematics and say, oh, well, actually, pyramids at their point bend space-time. And just because of the massive amount of pressure at each point, we just don't realize it kind of unfolds it for us. So they could really teach us anything. H.L. Mencken said that the plain fact is that education itself is a form of propaganda. Absolutely. It's the easiest way. And guess what, folks? It's free. All you have to do is just send your children all day to the free public indoctrination camps. A deliberate scheme to outfit the pupil, not with the capacity to weigh ideas, but with a simple appetite for gulping ideas ready-made. The aim is to make good citizens, which is to say docile and uninquisitive citizens. I've talked about this all the time. Think about yourself being in power. You're a dirtbag. You've got a bunch of money. Are you going to teach children the truth? Do you want them to grow up and challenge you for your power, to come after your family's money? Or do you want to teach them to be good little citizens? Stay quiet. Stay in your home. Don't do anything crazy. Let me keep my money. Let me keep my power. One of the things that they continue to teach in school at an age where nobody can figure it out and understand it is gravity. And this may seem silly with the strings, but I want to watch this little short clip from Bill Nye the Science Guy's old program. This is what they're showing kids, and it's fun.
This is good for about a minute. Watch this. Look what I've done. Taken an ordinary sock, rolled it up into a ball. One sock, not two, one. Taken a piece of string, wrapped it around the sock, stuck it through this toilet paper roll, tied the string onto a plastic bag with an apple in it.
What?
Watch what happens.
Watch what happens, okay? What the hell's that?
See the apple?
Yeah?
That's like the sun. And the sock is like Earth.
What?
The string is kind of like the sun's gravity holding the Earth in orbit.
That's what they're teaching kids. Why do you have an apple in a bag and a toilet paper roll and a string and a sock and you tie it all together? And kids must think that that means something, right? We all sat in school and we're like, yes, that's it. We know about gravity now. It's just like a sock being twirled around an apple. It makes a lot of sense to me. So, and of course, with gravity, and everyone's probably heard this quote before, I won't go through the entire thing, but this is by Isaac Newton, and if you read it carefully, you'll notice that Isaac Newton said, don't ascribe that nonsense to me. I don't want anything to do with that. Please, the idea of activity at a distance is insane. Do not subscribe that to me. I want nothing to do with it. And what we were all taught now? Oh, he's so brilliant. Newton, he came up with the the gravitational equations, and no, he didn't want anything to do with it. And he even said here, that it's so great an absurdity to him that I believe that no man who has in philosophical matters a competent faculty of thinking could ever fall into it. And yet they teach it to children as if it's fact. So this is what happens. Poor kids just having to constantly get the NASA propaganda. So let's talk about the science versus the pseudoscience. We have to ask ourselves, which belief is truly scientific? Which belief is pseudoscientific? You know, the one based on empirical evidence, the one based on observations and actual experiments, or the one that's simply built on mathematical transform equations and garbage. Science has become a religion. Anybody who doesn't see that, get out. Get out right now. We know science is constantly changing, right? Imagine the glory of having something that you could just say is so true, but it may not be true tomorrow. But if we change it, well, then it's true tomorrow. So you see there, guess I can't walk over there. It keeps disappearing. Thank you. So do photons really exist? Or this one here is, have we ever seen an atom? No. Just search it on Google. Has anyone ever seen an atom? The answer is no. But we're taught not just about atoms. And remember, the atom is the smallest thing that there could possibly be, right? It's the tiniest little thing that could ever be in existence, and they tell you what's inside the atom. Think about that. Oh, there's things orbiting, electrons, but the atom is the smallest thing that we can ever see or dissect, but you're going to tell me what's inside of it? We have now Yale computer scientists coming out and saying that they quit believing in Darwin's theories. We have physics professors telling them that science actually points to a designer. We've got science saying now, do photons really exist? So remember, we're teaching these things to children as if they're fact and they're positive and they're so true. We look at pseudoscience just so we understand what exactly it means. Pseudoscience consists of statements and beliefs or practices that are claimed to be scientific and factual, but are incompatible with the scientific method. All right. So I know we have some people like Michio Kaku. He's about to tell us about the scientific method. Let's listen carefully to whether or not he thinks that they're using the scientific method. Of course, he'll say yes. He's a scientist. He's a physicist. He's going to say that they follow the scientific method. I'm sure of it. Let's listen.
You're not going to believe this. In science, we always say that you make observations, you have a theory, you can go make more observations, and it's a very, very tedious process.
Right.
Wrong. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method.
What?
In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method.
Holy smokes. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method.
Are we surprised by that? I think not. Yeah, I think not. Are we surprised by that? But it's one of those deals that most of the people in my generation that I can say that, you know, I knew what they thought, you know, kind of about this stuff. And there were no science freaks. There was no science geeks. There were no science nerds that I knew of that were just, you know, the universe, astronauts, you know, all that stuff. I think my generation just kind of took it at arm's length. You know, I can't prove you wrong, but it just doesn't sound right. You know, I remember thinking that, wow, really in space, in the shadow of something, it's like minus 1,500 degrees, but in the sun in space, it's like plus 1,500 degrees. Really? 3,000 degree swing from light to dark? How do we survive? That's a pretty good Yeti cooler that we've put around us. 7, don't you start barking. Get over here. Stop. Did you know what I mean? And you know, all the good researchers, especially the ones that have gotten the really good pictures of the space lander and stuff. That stuff is just so cheesy. Could have done better in our backyard. And so, hold on before this dog starts barking. She's a whiny butt. You're a whiny butt. Sorry. But you guys know what I mean. It's just so, wow. They just screwed us so bad. I got another one here. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. This was just amazing. I would love to be able to capture something like this. This was just freaking amazing. Watch this thing. Look at that. There was 2 of them. That music's annoying. I don't need that music. That's annoying as hell. Yes, dear.
You copy me, please?
I will. I'm doing a lot of stream, but I will make your coffee.
Oh,
That's
you don't
okay.
have to.
No, I will. I'm showing a video.
Oh, Fred's up here too. 7 wanted to come back into bed.
Yes, I know. I let her back in.
Huh?
I know. I let her back in.
Oh, it looks like that. She's like,
Now, I don't know about y'all, but that is so cool. I know, isn't that crazy looking, Bob? That it's just bouncing off the firmament. There's some that are even better than that one. I just saw that one. That was the first one I saw. There's one that shows a whole nother set of them, and they're going way across the sky. Really getting after it. Crazy stuff. Let's see. I think, I have another one I was going to share. Let's do this one real quick.
And the lie has, in fact, led us so far away from a normal society that you cannot even orient yourself any longer. In its dense, gray fog, not even one pillar can be seen. Lying has always been.
Hold on a sec, guys.
Used for political purposes. Lies cover up corruption, past mistakes, and hidden motives, and they are an essential ingredient in political campaigning. Sometimes, however, political lies take on a much more sinister form. The lies become all-encompassing, embrace all aspects of life, and infect every corner of society. This occurrence is a sign that totalitarianism may be rising, for as the political philosopher Hannah Arendt noted, totalitarianism, at its essence, is an attempt at transforming reality into fiction. It is the attempt of corrupt and pathological state actors to impose a fictional account of the world onto the entire population. In Nazi Germany, it was the idea of a superior race and an unclean people that formed the big lie. In the Soviet Union, it was the belief that state communism could work and that all could be made equal. And from the big lie trickled down a stream of endless little lies. Referring to communist Russia, Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote, "In our country, the lie has become not just a moral category, but a pillar of the state." Describing Czechoslovakia under Soviet rule, Václav Havel similarly explained, "Life in the system is so thoroughly permeated with hypocrisy and lies. Because the regime is captive to its own lies, it must falsify everything. It falsifies the past. It falsifies the present, and it falsifies the future. It falsifies statistics." When a political system rests upon a bed of lies, what can be done to turn the tide back towards truth and freedom? In this video, drawing from the insights of Alexander Solzhenitsyn and Václav Havel, we are going to explore this question. The day before he was exiled from the Soviet Union, Alexander Solzhenitsyn published a short essay titled "Live Not by Lies," and in it he wrote, "We are approaching the brink. Already a universal spiritual demise is upon us. A physical one is about to flare up and engulf us and our children, while we continue to smile sheepishly and babble. But what can we do to stop it? We haven't the strength. But we can do everything, even if we comfort and lie to ourselves that this is not so. It is not they who are guilty of everything, but we ourselves, only we. When a state turns totalitarian, the individuals who live in these societies are not merely its victims. All the totalitarian regimes of the 20th century rose to power amidst thunderous applause, as many citizens openly called for the brutal control that defines this form of rule. Without mass support and compliance, the minority in the ruling class would be but paper tigers. The responsibility for the oppression, suffering, and loss of life that comes in the wake of totalitarianism, therefore, cannot be placed exclusively on politicians and bureaucrats. A large portion of responsibility must be placed on the citizens who support this form of rule, or else do nothing to resist. Václav Havel explains in his book, The Power of the Powerless. There is obviously something in human beings which responds to this totalitarian system. Human beings are compelled to live within a lie, but they can be compelled to do so only because they are in fact capable of living in this way. Therefore, not only does the system alienate humanity, but at the same time, alienated humanity supports this system as its own involuntary master plan, as a degenerate image of its own degeneration, as a record of people's own failure as individuals. If the fuel for the growth of totalitarianism is weak and fearful individuals, then a cure is a personal revolution that takes place in hearts and minds and leads to an awakening of self-responsibility, courage, and strength. The best resistance to totalitarianism is simply to drive it out of our own souls, our own circumstances, our own land, to drive it out of contemporary humankind. Alexander Solzhenitsyn's writings played a major role in toppling the communist Soviet Empire, and he advised we engage in such a personal revolution by transforming our life in a way which targets the most vulnerable part of the totalitarian system, the lies upon which it is built. In Live Not by Lies, Solzhenitsyn explains, and therein we find, neglected by us, the simplest, the most accessible key to our liberation, a personal non-participation in lies. Even if all is covered by lies, even if all is under their rule, let us resist in the smallest way. Let their rule hold, not through me.
Wow, that is so true. Now, guys, that is so true, right? And I've said it before, and we all agree that the easiest way to stop this is non-compliance. You know, and my whole life, Fred, good God, Fred, it's empty. Leave it alone, Lord. But my whole life we've been told, oh, you know, communism, not going to happen here. We're watching. You know, not going to happen here. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Got to stop it. We have never stopped anything. Here it is. It's in the house. It's not at the doorstep anymore. It is in the house. It's been in the kitchen, in the fridge. It's been in your personal stuff. It's here. And Ronald Reagan, I think he said that famous quote about freedom is only one generation from extinction. And they know that. They've known that. They've been working towards that. Just a little bit at a time. We get this generation programmed just enough, then they'll help us program the next. And then that next one, we got it. We're in. And they know that. You know, when you see stuff, you know, Solzhenitsyn, you know, people know all about him. But how many people pay attention to what he said? You know, how many people go, oh, right, dude, I'm on guard here, not happening. Like he says, it's each individual, just no non-compliance. I ain't gonna do it. And they have no power. With so many people, that programming at its finest. What do you do? You know, what do you do? You know, I think about that grandbaby, Lulu. Man, what's it gonna be like for her in 10 years? Yeah. Wow. We don't do something. But like we talked about, this is all God's will. As long as we keep our faith and stay on the narrow path, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be a picnic, but it ain't going to be bad. Alan and I watched the deal yesterday, a quick video, a news clip from Colorado, and how so many people were coming down with new cases. And they talked about how they had a large percentage of their population that were deemed safe from a jab, yet they're going through the roof. And a lot of us would speculate that that's just the ones that were, I think, Fred, Jesus Christ, dog. In the mornings when me and Baxter come out, I'll give him a little bowl of food, and we have some wet food for our older dogs, and I'll just pour him a little gravy on it just for him. Everybody else hates me for it, but when they get in here, that metal bowl, that dog bowl still has the smell, I guess, and the taste in it, and Fred will just lick that damn thing till he wears a hole in it. Just till he wears a hole in that thing, and you can hear it outside. It's so loud on this tile. So you have to shut him down. But what was I saying? The non-compliance is the only way. And so many people just can't fathom non-compliance. It's not in their vocabulary. It's not a part of their thing. They can't get there. They're rule followers. They were, from the first day they walked into a classroom, pre-K, they were told, here's the rules. Follow the rules, you get your snack and you get your nap, and all is well. You don't follow the rules, it's not going to go well for you in this learning environment. And think about that. By God, you don't follow the rules, we're going to let you learn. We're not going to try to teach you. What's so funny is I think my generation was the last that had some teachers that were actually teachers that, okay, here's information in the book, and then they taught you. You can read that, but here is the translation, and you get it, and it's helpful, and it works. But there's not many. I don't think there's many of those left anymore. I really don't. The scarcity of a good teacher, and I hate to say it this way, but when someone like my daughter Alex can graduate with a bachelor's degree in theater and a minor in history, and they'll hand her a teaching certificate and let her go teach our youth, that's sad commentary, because that girl couldn't teach you how to zip up your jacket and put the hood up. Just being honest, she's not a teacher. She can't teach. Alan asked me the other day, and I said this, oh my God, months ago when we played golf. I showed him on the swing a couple of times here, try this, do this. And he took a couple of swings, and me joking, I went, you're uncoachable. Oh my God. And he asked me yesterday about, did you mean that? Did you mean that when you said I was uncoachable? That hurt him. I didn't realize. I'm sorry, Alan. No, I was joking. I was just joking. But there are people who are uncoachable, and there are people who can't coach either. And y'all know those kind of people. Y'all run across them probably with your kids and stuff. Or they just ain't coaches. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But seeing all these proofs, at some point, does the pushback? I'm just talking flat Earth. One thing. Let's talk flat Earth. At some point, is the pushback enough where they say, okay, all right, here, y'all pick a representative. We'll go to the Antarctic. We'll go to the space station. We'll let you observe. We'll let you take measurements. We'll let you, we got nothing to hide. Does that ever happen? Will that ever happen? They gave us that false sense of transparency all the way back in the 80s when they put the first teacher in space. That made them legitimate. That look, a regular person's going to go up. Hey, Ashley, how are you this morning? That they showed us, look, man, we're putting regular people just like you into outer space. And watch, when she gets back, she's going to tell you. She's going to tell you everything you need to know about space. For the 2 or 3 of you that are in here watching, I just put the link in if anybody wants to come in. I know y'all have had blessings in your life since I last saw you. So if anybody wants to come on, you're welcome. I'm wondering, it really is crazy how the media, social media, the mainstream media, academia, science have been able to keep the flat earth proofs at arm's length and and away from the masses. I watched the Dave Weiss interview yesterday, and he showed his app, which I have the app on my phone, and he's got, he said 24,000 people who subscribe for the specific texting deal. Just that, where if you pull up the map, you can see the blue dots, and you can send and receive text. 24,000. He said, then there was, I believe he said, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but if I remember correctly, he said close to another 50,000 that don't have the text app and the locator app. They didn't pay that extra 99 cents. He said, and then if stats are even close, that around across the plane, there are probably another million. But if you think of the world, the flat earth as the number it is, they tell us it is several billion. That a million really isn't a whole lot of people. There's still a whole lot more to get it to out there. And, you've got to factor in the people who believe but won't admit it because they don't want to be shunned. There's that whole group of people that are crowd followers, and it doesn't matter what they think, they're going to stay in the crowd. So they get no friction. They don't want any friction. They don't jump in the melee. They just stay there in the crowd, and they're just part of the gulp of the bulk. Like yesterday, watching college football, and the Baylor Bears beat Oklahoma, and the kids rushed the field, and the coach didn't understand this. I just didn't understand this. They're running out the clock at the end of the game, and they use their last 3 timeouts during this process. They use them. Baylor uses them. And so there's 8 seconds left. Y'all hush. they throw a quick little pass. He gets maybe 2 yards, and and they stop, and they're on like the 20, and they call a timeout with like 1 second left, and everybody rushes the field. They think the game's over. They think this is done, and there's like 1 second left, and it takes 20 minutes to get the field cleared. And they make them. The refs say you've got to get back on the field, snap the ball one more time before the game is over. So they come back out, and the coach kicks a field goal. He doesn't just take the snap and put it, take it in, turn the clock out. He kicks a field goal. And at the end, the reporter asks, hey, by the way, at the end with all that, why did you end up kicking a field goal? And he said, oh, tiebreaker. In the end, I guess they had time to think about it, going, hey, we're in the running for the Big 12 championship here. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, where's our number? And they did the math, and they were like, we need to kick a field goal. If it comes down to that in the end and we didn't kick this field goal, we may not get in. So pretty crazy. And then one of the craziest games, and I know none of you people would have even seen this game or watched it, but Texas Tech and Iowa State. Texas Tech just was romping them in the first half. I think it was 31 to 14 at half. Texas Tech. And the second half, it was opposite, right? So Iowa State comes back, ties it up at 38. And Texas Tech gets the ball back with a minute left. And they drive a little bit, and they stall. And with like 8 seconds left, their kicker in Lubbock, Texas, where the wind usually always blows, is not blowing a breath of air. This kid, his longest field goal ever, 48 yards. He kicks a 62-yarder to win. And you think Texas Tech didn't come apart? Come on, Baxter, stop. But you think Texas Tech didn't come apart? They had about a fourth of the people in the stands in Lubbock at that game as Waco had, and they stormed the field. They stormed the field. But it was so funny. My thought, looking down, because they have the camera shot of just everybody running onto the field and it packing and growing. And that center group, that's the crowd. That's the mob. They just go along. The few that were instigators, the few that were that would incite something are very small. The ones that follow and initiate, when told, that's just the core, man. That's the mob. That's the compliant. When asked why, most of them can't tell you why they just did that. They don't know. They just, everybody else was. I need to find out if my nephews were there. My nephew, Brant and Brenner, go to Tech. And I need to find out if those idiots were there. I wonder. They're pretty level-headed kids. If I was to guess, those kids would have been on the very outside ring, just kind of standing back going, the hell are these people doing? What is going on? I need to find out. I'll text them today. I'll tell them I saw them on TV punch a girl in a wheelchair. My nephews, they'll like that. What? I didn't do nothing like that. I saw you, man. You were live on TV. I know I'm an idiot sometimes, but I can't help it. Oh, I showed Alan this the other day. He loves one of the lines in a movie called The 410 to Yuma. He loves that movie, and he loves one of the lines in it where I think he says Russell Crowe tells a guy that he'll kill him with a pickle fork. Well, I saw this, And this is an old album that I don't know. Some of y'all might have had. It was one of my favorites. But when I saw this, the pickle fork came in. I will push you. Just so you can see the picture. Y'all can see it on the side there. But you talk about pickle forks. It's crazy. See there. Got 2 pickle forks in his eyes. Alan loved that. Who had that album? I did. Well, I didn't have the album. I lie. I had the cassette, and I burned that sucker up. Yep, burned it up. Alan, we're getting into the rocks more. We we have a bunch of rocks that we got from my house out in Merkel. They were decorative rocks. I don't know how many of y'all saw our older videos when we were doing the rocks early on, but right there in my front yard were landscaping stones. They just had these stones in these beds, Southwest cactus there and stuff. And after I saw Alan's stuff, man, I'd always looked at those rocks. When I walked in, some of them looked like hearts, kidneys, lungs. And when I started talking to Alan, I finally went and got one and got some muriatic acid and soaked one of them. And wow, what was revealed was so cool. I had no idea. But enough people are getting onto this, like Alan showed in his video yesterday or the day before, or many days now. The one guy who got the confirmation that he had a lung, when you get that confirmation, yep, that's what it is. All of a sudden now nobody in the forensics field wants to do samples for you. Nobody wants to look at stuff for you anymore. So what do you do? What do you do? They own the labs, they own the schools. What do you do? Oh, I beg to differ, Ashley. I beg to differ. I am an idiot in many ways. I'm trying to not be an idiot as much, but it still slips out now and then. It still slips out. But we got to FaceTime with Lulu yesterday morning. I got to put some of these pictures on here so I can show y'all. But she hadn't been up very long, and Maddie FaceTimed me. And when we come on camera, she's just kind of sitting there in Maddie's lap. And I go, Lulu, hi, sugar. She looks up and she sees me and she starts smiling. And oh my God, my heart melted right there. And on FaceTime, you can take pictures. So I started taking some pictures and I showed Kathy. She was gone. She was at the store. And I showed Kathy, I said, first one, when she sees me, next one, next one. And she started smiling. Oh, guys. Oh, my heart. Oh, that was so precious. We get to see her on Thanksgiving. We get to see her then. And it'll be nice. It'll be nice. It'll be good to see my parents. Me and my brother have got to get medical power of attorney and financial power of attorney, and my brother's got to get on the ball and start getting them some daily care there at the house. And the good thing is, me and my brother both agree we're not going to put them in a nursing home. worst case scenario, which isn't bad, I'll go out there. I'll go out there and stay with them. I'll take care of them. Me and the dogs. We'll go out there and do it. But my dad, I'm going to try and talk him into let's going in together on one of those hydrogen, one of those Brown's gas machines to see if it won't help my dad's dementia. It won't hurt it. That's for sure. It will not hurt it. And everybody pitch in $700 and we can get one. Let mom and dad use it till they're done, but only if they'll use it. If they won't use it, they don't get it. It'd be mine. I'll use it. But I watched a video the other day with Crow. I showed y'all some of it about the doctor who said to take the borax, pinch of borax in warm water every morning. Then I've been doing that. And man, he wasn't kidding. It'll sure clear your lungs up. Boy. Every morning. More than usual. I'm jacking stuff up. He did say, hey, if you're smoking your medicine or anything else, it's going to be a slower process. You're making it fight. So if you can lay off that for a month and detox, you'll be better off. So I don't know. Can I? Should I? Will I? I need to get me some gummies when I'm out there. Talk to my buddy James. Get me some gummies so I can put the flour down for a while. Yeah, you were telling me that. It doesn't taste like anything. You just do a pinch. You don't taste it at all. I always boil some water and let it cool down and pour it in. They don't even inhale, huh? Then how do you see? That's what's funny is from the jump, I was able to inhale marijuana smoke. Cigarette, never could, ever couldn't do it today. First time I ever tried a cigarette was the last time. I did it, pulled on it and tried real slow. And oh, Ashley's here. Hey, Ashley.
Good morning.
Ashley. Morning, Chug. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed. Yes. Hold on. Let me.
Amen.
Okay. All right. I had to fix it. Oh, my hair is a hot mess this morning. No joke.
Look at mine.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Yours is too. It's just sticking out. It's morning. We can do that.
I'm cutting mine today.
Yeah.
When
Cutting yours.
long enough that I wake up in the morning, I would have to do something to make it not look messy. I cut it. I cut it. As soon as I see it like this and now it's messy, I cut it.
Perfect idea. I
want to comb my hair with a wash rack.
Everybody should do it like that. Comb your hair with a wash rack.
Done. Over. That's it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to use a brush or comb. That's the way I like it.
Yeah, yeah. That's hilarious. That's cute.
I had my mullet long enough. I don't do hair care anymore.
You used a mullet?
Oh,
or you had a mullet? I not used.
I used it. I used that mullet. I did. Long curly mullet. Ooh, it worked. It worked. So many girls love them curls. I do love your curly hair.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The mullet. That's cute. That's real cute. I bet you were styling and profiling, brother.
Girls were suckers for the mullet, baby.
Yeah. Oh man, I bet everybody had them at that
And then
time.
Billy Ray Cyrus fucked it up, came out with the super mullet and screwed it up for everybody. He went too far. He went too far. He did. He went too far. He messed up the whole mullet movement. He couldn't stay on in his lane, man. We didn't need that.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
couldn't sing on top of it. So
Man, when I was a youngin', I would listen to some Billy Ray Cyrus, but that's I did, man. I'd turn my little wooden rocking chair upside down, and I'd stand on top of it, and I'd have my little hairbrush, and I'd just go singing away with Billy Ray Cyrus.
yeah, baby. Shoot, we were doing the Tom Cruise thing in Risky Business before Tom Cruise was doing the thing in Risky Business.
Yeah. That now, yeah. Oh, yeah, y'all were doing it.
Turn up the jam. It's on. I'm a rock star. We all did it.
We all did it.
Can't deny you did it.
Nope.
It might have been to Billy Ray Cyrus, or it might have been to Van Halen. Everybody had their rock show.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt. I had some fun with it. Nowadays I could refuse to do it.
I refuse.
Much. Who you talking to? Tommy Texan?
Tommy the Texan.
Morning, Tommy.
Hey, bud. What's up? Morning. How's the weather out there?
I'm sorry. What did you say? I didn't hear.
How's the weather?
Oh, how's the weather? It's cold, brother. Cold. And
See.
apparently all the deers have COVID. So,
It's 39 here. It's 39 degrees here in Southeast Texas. And orange.
Let's see what my scrying mirror says about the temperature here. Oh, okay. Oh, we're all right. It's 34. We're just a little behind you.
We're close. But I'm on the coast, man. y'all are
so you're on the Gulf Coast?
Yeah, I'm on the Gulf Coast, so it's
well,
not.
What's it doing being so cold on the golf course like that? It's supposed to be like 75 right now.
I know, man. It's cold down here. My dogs don't want to go outside. They're freaking out. What the hell?
They're probably getting frostbite.
Yeah, they don't like it. They don't like it at all.
Mine
But
don't
we
either.
got a cold spell happening here over the last week. It's been pretty cool every morning. It gets up to 75.
During the day?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 70 today, I think. What did it say?
Wow, what's it supposed to be here today?
75.
No, 54.
Oh, that's not 75.
No,
Tommy's gonna have a great day.
Anyway, Tommy, I just want to say good morning to you, man.
Morning, brother. Morning, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, next week we hit 79, 80, then we go 68, then we go 70s, then 60s. So our weather's kind of up and down. Our weather's up and down.
I didn't realize I didn't go far enough south. So
Right.
Yeah. They still get winter here a little bit. I mean, it doesn't really snow, but they still get winter. I didn't go far enough south.
All right.
That's all right. Once we get that bus, that'll be it. No more winters for us.
Gonna be done with it.
That's
That's why I love the Bullhead City in Arizona there, because except for December and January, and it wasn't cold. The coldest it get in the mornings is 45, 35, 45. When I worked out there at the golf course mowing the greens in February, late February, there were mornings where I'd go check the greens and they had frost on them. They would have frost on them out there in Arizona. So this was in February, and then once it warmed up, you were done. It would be in the hundreds by March. But that's where I want to go. I want to be somewhere like that, where I only have to have a jacket for a month, maybe. And on most days in that month, I can shuck it by noon.
Right.
Yeah. I'm done with it by lunch.
Yeah.
That was
I'm a summertime lover. I love the summertime. I don't care how hot it gets out there, you know.
I'd rather be hot than cold any day.
That's the way I am. I'm a sissy through and through. I don't like that coldness. And
Yeah.
Jason don't either. Yeah, when we do plan on getting a bus and making it into our home, and we're gonna move different place. What?
Sweet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's exciting. We've been talking about it since we met, and we know Jesus gonna bring us one day. You know what I mean? We've looked in there. And we've looked at some, but we pretty much, when we looked at some, it was, we were learning about them, you know, like what to look for, what type of bus we want. Because at first we just want a bus. It didn't matter what it is. And now we understand we want a bus with the engine outside of it. You know, we want pay attention to the tires, you know, and just little things. Little things. All good things.
It'll come. Me and Kathy have talked, and we want to get like a food truck and pull a camper behind it, and just, she wants to, it's always been her dream, just follow the NASCAR circuit one season, and you have your food truck and your camper, and you get a permit. You can get a permit and set up there on the row of vendors. You know, you can do it. All you have to do is call the right people and get the right paperwork, and she's wanted to do that. And I'm like, you know what that means? I drive to these tracks, then I cook all day, then and you get to watch the race and chill. And she's like, well, no, I would help. Sure you would. But I almost bought a food truck a couple of years ago.
Dude, you they're the way to go. We were gonna put a little place outside of our kitchen off of the bus that'll kind of come down, and it'll be where people could order food, and we were just gonna serve, you know, like odd things, eggplant sandwich, you know, like just, you know, hippie stuff, or stuff that's just like not what you would get in
not carnival food.
Yeah, stuff you wouldn't get at a regular, you know, and if people got it, wanted to get it, that's fine. If not, we'd eat it because we freaking love it, you know. Dandelion root coffee.
There you go. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and we've been experimenting with it, you know, and we like taking, I mean, I don't mind the dandelion root, grind it up and put my coffee with my coffee.
Keep talking. I can hear you. I'm gonna get something. Keep talking.
I don't think I would want it, you know, in by itself. But I know that everything on the dandelion tastes absolutely delicious. I mean, it really does. You can eat every bit of that plant and it'd be fine for you right off the ground. Yeah. So I've learned a lot about dandelions here and made some coconut oil. And I crunched bunches of dandelions up and put them in a pot, coconut oil in there with it, and I boiled it for just a second, and then I put it on 3, and I left it there for hours with a lid over it. Keep all that stuff inside, and that's just me experimenting. Other people could do it differently.
Do you want to make real good herbal teas? This is what's called a Soxhlet extractor.
Man, it looks like a chemistry set.
It is. It's a chemistry set. And this is an extractor. And it's got a, this is the distiller part. That's the distiller. This is the extractor part. And you can get dandelions and do pure extract. You can extract every bit of the good stuff out of it, and you have a concentrate.
Wow. No, you didn't. Oh, I heard that happen, brother. You're so amazing, and I love you. First world problems.
Oh, that's all right. I'm going to Big Spring, and my buddy has a couple of these. that I got him started on. Wow, that hurt my heart. I still stiller though. Dang. You know what? This thing traveled all the way from West Texas. All my stuff not a broke thing, not one thing broken. And the first time I pull it out of the box to show somebody,
Boom. Gone. Like it was not.
it's been sitting there in the garage in its box. I walk by it every day.
Bless him.
And until I pull it out, that's justice. That's what happens.
Stuff. It is. Ain't it?
Get a bigger one anyway.
And is that there? Oh, see, it was just helping your process out.
That's right. Now
the decision making.
Now I have to make the decision to get a bigger one.
Right. Boom. Done.
Yep.
That's why this happened.
I was going. Now I know.
Right. Now.
I gotta set up my my hydroponic for my to start my seeds. I have a big 108 hole hydroponic tower that you vegetate in, get them rooted, and then you can transplant them. Pretty cool. Very cool. You can do a lot of food real fast. Like I can do 30 tomato plants on one row. I can do 30, you pick carrots, cucumbers, whatever, get them all started. Boom, 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 going, then transplant them. Or
so what is it?
Huh?
What is it? What does it do?
It grows. It's a hydroponic plant setup where you grow in water. Has a pump.
In water as opposed to the dirt.
Yeah. And you can leave them in water and grow them, or you can transplant them once they got roots into dirt.
Yeah, man. I have my friend that had a greenhouse for freaking 30 years. He taught me that anywhere you wanted, like any plant pretty much. Now there are some that you can't do it that way, but I was amazed that they all root in water. You just stick them in water and they will root. And but it's interesting what you're talking about. I noticed that if I left them in water for too long, though, that they would get used to that water, and when you put them in dirt, they just wouldn't grow at all because they got.
For sure, they get to a point where they're done right there. They stay in water, and a lot of them I noticed will, if I leave them in water, and I've read up on it, that they'll just go dormant. And they won't grow anymore, and they won't put off fruit. They'll just grow dormant. So you have to trim them. You have to do a lot of stuff to them when they're just hydroponics to keep them. Some plants, like tomatoes and different things.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
Like what you said, you root them in the hydroponic tube?
Yeah. You can take and germinate them where they just start a root, and they come with these little foam squares and these little holders, and you put it in there and you set it in the trough. There's holes all in these PVC tubes. Turn the pump on and it circulates water through the whole thing, and you set it on a timer, and you have your nutrients in the water, and you can set it up however you want. I have a timer that goes 2, 4, 6, 8 hours. That'll come on, circulate the water for 15 minutes every 2 hours. You can set it up on a half hour, however you want. So it just come on, circulates the water for 15 minutes, then shuts off, and then boom again, and it just keeps them growing. Man, I've grown some roots. They grow that long down the tube. Just huge.
Wow. Oh, I love it, man. And you get to see the roots. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can pull the little pod out of the deal and see how long the roots are getting.
That is so cool. Yeah, I haven't looked anything into this. I'm just a typical, put them in the dirt and let them grow.
Not eBay. You can look on Amazon and just look up hydroponic indoor setups. And they come all the way from ones that have just a dozen holes that are little and you can start plants in them to like mine that has 108 holes in it. And they're easy to set up. They're easy to work, maintain. You can do them indoors, get you a grow light. They stack up pretty high. I'll do a video when I get mine set up.
Okay.
Video. And let people
Man, speaking of that, y'all talking about rocks. No, well, I don't like saying the word rock because to me they're not rocks. They're flipping fossils. Like 90% of what you find is a fossil or a piece of a mountain. It's a stone. It has there are properties in this. But talking about the mud flood fossils, I started watching this cat that actually like do testing, I think. Or no, he understood. Like he used to be a scientist and he understood, about body parts and whatnot.
Right.
And so he found someone to do a test on his stone that he had found that was a finger. It was a finger.
Right.
And it had rubies coming out of it.
Wow.
And I thought that was very interesting, that and whether it be or not, I didn't see it for myself. I wasn't around it. But he did show the paperwork.
Right.
And so, dude, what do you say about that? But either way, body parts. So I walk everywhere I go and I love the woods. I absolutely love it. And if I find an old creek bed, I love walking up and down that old creek bed because there's stuff that's buried there. And I started finding different rocks. See, there I go with that rock again. I'm really trying. I started finding different fossils, stones that looked identical in shape. Like their shape, just very peculiar shape. And it was the same shape, and they were smooth, and they'd have different indentions in them. In the stone itself, it had different indentions on it. And this cat come in my life, this mud fossil cat, and he was showing that like this is where like your arteries would be plugged in, and different things around the body where it would have plugs, which is the only way I can explain it. I'm not a flipping doctor or scientist. I know nothing about the body.
You brought that up because I guess you haven't seen our stuff.
No, I don't get on this very often at all.
I'll show some pictures.
Actually, I have only one, where it'll tell you notifications. You are the only one that I will let it notify me, and it's because you're up at the time that I'm up.
Right.
I have time and we communicate well with one another, and I dig it. So
there's my pictures of my stones. There's one of them, but I have more pictures. You mean stones like this? Am I sharing?
Oh yeah, you're sharing. Well, that's interesting what you found there. These are stones you found?
Mm-hmm, they were in my yard.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, they were in my yard out in West Texas. Some of my photography here. I got great pictures of them. Yeah, there we go.
Interesting, no doubt. That indention, and they are how many are there?
Oh, a dozen.
What? That's one that's been broken, but the hole is still there.
No, I think this is a femoral head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or a part of a hip bone. That's what I think. And like this one, the thing is like a vertebra.
Oh, dude. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I change up when you change the lighting and stuff on them. This stuff really jumps out.
Mm. Interesting, that hole right there.
Well, and these holes go all the way through, and like here's
Mm.
the holes. A lot of these holes
Yeah,
communicate.
yeah. I see. I see.
You know,
Right, and are they? Are they the same on each stone? You know what I mean? Where the holes are at?
a lot of them, yes, they're similar. They're really close to the same layout.
Right, right. They probably wouldn't be the exact.
Right,
No.
but these differentiations in
Mm.
that's a whole different structure on this side than this side. It's like a connective tissue and attachment, we think. And these openings, the way they're oblique, that's the way your arteries and openings through your bones and stuff usually are. They're more oblique than perfectly round.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, so we have quite a few stones that we're working with.
Interesting, no doubt. Wow.
Alan's got one out there right now. I think he showed it last night. So we think this is pretty sure this is a heart.
Hmm.
Pretty crazy stuff. And these were all just in my yard.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
You know, look at this thing. The
Right.
colors in it and stuff. Looks
Right.
like vessels and nerves running all through it.
Yes.
What gets me is the textures like that. A lot of these have this weird texture to them.
Mm.
That's just, it's natural to it. And it's just weird that it's, you know, it's different. It's hard to see on some of them. I think, see, it's all these lines, serrated lines that go this way. And then over here, they'll go the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we-
Yeah, every bit of that means something. You're right. Every
know how the
single.
heart twists around itself. And so you will have tissues going one direction here and another direction right beside it. Because that's the way it curls up. Now, this was a cool little stone. It sure jumps out at you when you take the light to it. But yeah, we got lots of stones. We're going at it hard. See, like these things, they have these attachments, seems like here, and things right there that aren't normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got lots to look at. This is a good example here. See how this has got these lines and textures, and then there's this just something here that's different. It all changes.
Right, an indention there that yeah.
You know, and then it runs that way, and then this all runs this way over there. Just different. But this one is a good example.
Dude, that is magnificent.
Yeah, look at the little stuff in here. This is all crystalline like stuff. We think that's lymphatic system oozing out.
What'd you just call me?
I said that looks like the lymphatic. We think this is lymphatic system. Where,
Define lymphatic.
yeah, where it's oozing out or secreting, and it's like crystallized. That's just our guesses.
Interesting. That's very interesting. What? Okay.
Yeah, this one.
Dude, that is flipping.
It's got all kinds of openings.
How big is that? How big is that by your hand size? How big is it?
Probably two of my hands, probably 15 inches long,
Uh,
6 inches wide.
hey, lady, good morning.
This is the back side of it. How these all communicate. That goes that way. That goes this comes out here. These all communicate through the top of it there. And like I say, this is smooth, and then this is all serrated. Just weird, man. Just weird. This really looks like bone to me. I think this is like a femoral head. This part of the
Bone, I'm not sure of. A lot of stuff that I was finding I thought was bone at one point, and then come to find out it's not. Have you looked into bone? What fossilized bone looks like?
I've seen some things. I haven't looked very hard. I just starting out at this. Alan knows a lot more. He thinks some of them are bone, so I trust him on that.
Him for a good buddy.
Yeah,
Alan's a wise cat as well.
Yeah. Y'all know more than I do about them. I just look at them and go, "That looks like this to me." This is what it looks like.
Yeah. Was Alan who got you into this?
Yeah. I had seen one of his shows where he was talking about the stones crying out. I had seen these in my yard, and they just were crying out to me, going, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." It's like these things, just this should be a gem. It'll probably go way down in there.
Right. It's a geode, right?
But it's just totally opposite substance than everything around it. And I was telling you, I've taken like these rocks, and I've gotten a water hose, and I run water through these openings, and they do what? They create a vortex. And that's the way the guy who engineered out all the flumes and stuff, and how he talked about how the openings, how if you change them and put ripples, and you can change flow.
That's amazing.
So I figured that out, that when you run something through these openings, they have a natural vortex to them.
That is amazing.
But this has so many different aspects. Totally different. Totally different.
Are some of these pictures? So does Alan have a lot of these pictures on the one that you're talking about?
The early show we did, these are all on it. I believe we did a show where I showed these. See what these things? Look at that. Just crazy.
Right. Where blood vessels would go, and right. The plugs. I don't know.
Look at this thing. It is such a cool tunnel. It goes and turns up, but right there is another one, and I believe it goes angular out the other side.
Huh.
And they all communicate. This one, same way. This one goes through. It has a Y here. This one communicates with it down into a single chamber. Oh, but like this stuff right here, that certainly looks like a tendon ligament attachment, or muscle would attach, to bone.
Right.
And that just looks. Have you ever shucked an oyster? That's the way the oyster base looks like when you take it out. You know what I'm saying?
An oyster. Oh yeah. Okay.
This is what's left when you take your meat. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Wow.
Just an observation.
It's a good observation for sure. Holy Spirit filled.
You know, but I could look at these things all day. They
Yeah,
time you
me
walk
too.
out.
I could too, bro. I seriously could too, man. I flipping Jason. We can't go anywhere and to a creek and not come home with stones.
Alan goes somewhere with me in town, and he waits in the car. Come back out, he's always got stones. I was walking around over there, man. I found a stack of rock. I'm like,
That's what I did.
look at
Yeah.
Hey, when we first
I love it. You know, here in White Bluff, how I prove the flood is I show them stones that where they see that there were creatures here in the ocean living here that have turned into fossils. These crinoids and coral, that's my main thing, is crinoids and coral.
Nice.
Let's see, that's just one of, but that's that one is crinoid. It's got the lines going sideways on it. And then coral, I don't know even where a piece is, to tell you the truth, he's somewhere. But either way, I have coral as well, and it has lines going, oh, there's a piece of coral. It has lines going up and down it on the inside. That's how I tell the difference. On the inside. Now this one's got lines on that. Dude, they're all very interesting. Dude, it proves the flood though. The flood was here. You know, the ocean was here because crinoids are in a... Go ahead.
I said nothing else explains it.
Right. How can you explain sea anemones, creatures that live on the rock sides of the ocean underneath it, that have blood that runs through them, and they just, these funny little weird things that have tentacles coming off of them, you know? And all of a sudden we've got freaking I mean, bro, I have buckets upon stone upon, oh my gosh, brother, I've got so many freaking crinoids and coral. I can't even I could put a whole Salvation Army, you know, in business on it, you know, for sure. And they're everywhere. And it, to me, I'm just like, it's amazing because it proves that the flood happened. It proves it.
At minimum, you know, that, you know, there was an ocean here, because we know they only live in an ocean. Yeah. Well, we're at an hour and a half, and everybody's getting up and around here, so I'm going to cash in my chips. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Ashley's a trip. You see that? Shucks.
Love y'all too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all. Have a good discernment, good vibrations.
Later, Tommy.
Later, bye.